And we're live. Content provided at the event is for general information only, not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. Any performance reference is historical and no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged, may not be invested into directly. Any economic forecast set forth in the event may not develop as predicted, and there can be no guarantee that any strategy will be successful. These thoughts and opinions are those of Gimbal Financial and do not represent the views of LPL Financial. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Gimbal Financial, registered investment advisor, and separate entity from LPL Financial. Howdy.
If you don't know this already, Amanda has a fun side. And so if you haven't met Amanda's fun side and you're just used to her taking care of your details and making sure things go smoothly in your life, come on over and get to know Amanda's fun side. You can see it on display right now.
Now, I'm not trying to mock anything. I have truly decided that this is my favorite versus the face mask. I like these. I can't feel it on my face. I might be a little echoey to you guys right now. I won't wear it for long, but I don't even know if these are if these suffice for CDC or what, but I do find that the face shields I prefer. They're a little less claustrophobic. They don't touch your face, and
well, and
it may not be as safe, but
look at Keith. He's pulling the dad move. My sons make fun of me for this. You know, he's got the chin exposed.
I make fun of you too. Yeah, your dad jokes.
They give it to me. They don't like my chin exposed. They think it's nerdish, but I like it.
Well, welcome back. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. I know I did. The reason why I actually have this is because my mom bought these for our Thanksgiving dinner. We did not wear them the entire time, but it actually, you can, in a weird way, eat underneath. I was like, if we do, there's going to be gravy and cranberry and green bean casserole all over these things, which would be really kind of gross.
So you're saying your family has not learned to chew with their mouth closed? That's why you have to wear those things?
Oh, darn. We've been caught. But yeah, hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. I know I did, and hopefully everyone was safe as well. If we may, we could dive right into some COVID talk while we're on the topic and while we are covered up and safe. So let me share my screen here. I actually thought about
Doug, where are you? You sound like you're in the echo chamber.
Yeah, hi.
You hear me, Doug?
I am just next door to you in Gimbal's new headquarters. We don't have any furniture or bodies in here to soften the echo, but I'm just delighted to be in this space. I love it, and I want you to come over and check it out sometime and tell us what you think.
I love that accent.
It motivates me that there is technological advances going on all the time, which drives our economy. We have conference room doors in there that have a button that pushes when you close it that seals the conference room to soundproof it. It's modern technology without it doesn't even have any electronics in it. It's just a new technology that somebody devised. It just makes me smile. I'm sorry, Amanda, go ahead with the COVID.
Sorry.
That ADD.
I was ahead of you too, so now we're on the same page. I actually went into this week thinking I really don't want to talk about COVID because we hear it all the time. But this week's tracker from our friends over at First Trust, strictly, this is someone that we appreciate their opinion. It's math that they present, and so we don't endorse them by any means or anything, but they do provide some really good data. And what I've said this before, but I'll say it again, this little tidbit in the upper right-hand corner changes every week. And this week, I thought it was really interesting. It talks about 91% of stories by the US major media outlets were negative in tone in regards to COVID, versus 54% for non-US major sources, and then 65% for scientific journals, which is just fascinating to me because it tells me that, I mean, I don't watch the news to begin with, but this reassures that I don't want to listen to the negative tone of the US media sources.
Yeah,
Well, I see some things on there, some math I wanted to point out. We've talked about this on our, when we look at the charts of the stock market, and we'll see the same thing. But if you look at that left-hand chart there, where you have the spike in that blue line there, and if you notice, the orange line below it is not correlating with it at all. And the orange line is COVID-related deaths. The blue line is the COVID positive tests. And normally when you see a chart that ascends at that slope, it tends to descend at the same slope. So my personal expectation is we'll see that begin to drop off. I know the news is telling you otherwise, but there's no supporting data on the orange line below that says that we've got a better handle of this than we did, back in April. If you look at the orange line versus the blue line back there, we're in a much better place. Then if you scroll down, Amanda, for me to that COVID infection survival rates right there. I can't read it on your screen, but the blue line there says that's the survival rate of people just surviving in those age ranges. It's like you started January 1st, what's the probability in 0 to 19 you're going to survive through the end of that blue one is 2018. So it says if you were in that age range, you had a 99.95% chance. Over on the left there at the age 0 to 19, that right, yeah, that one right there. So you had a 99.95% chance of starting January 1st and being alive December 31st. Makes sense? And then the next line next to it is what's your COVID survival rate, and it's 99.97 in that age range. Okay, and so this is all math and data. And so then if you just follow each one of those across the page there, the orange ones are that you had the exposure to COVID and what's your probability of survival rate. And so it's really not much different. It's not a noticeable change there. And so that's, and then one last one I was going to throw out there to you. If you go down to the bottom left of that, Amanda, this is the hospital occupancy rates. Okay. And it shows the gray line right below the orange is the 10-year average of how occupied hospitals beds are. And the orange is the average as of the end of last month. And then the blue just shows you each state where they're at today. And so it's not really at a panic level that we hear in the news on that. Several states on to the left of that have less, occupancy levels than the average over the last 10 years. And then there's an equal number on the right, which that's just normal math. You have on just about any sample of anything, you're going to have some people that are under the average and some people are above. So you get an average. And so your average is just up a little bit. Part of that is some of these treatments that they're doing for the people require a 5-day treatment. It's a 1 day on one process and then 4 days to get the following. And those are inpatient treatments. And I was talking to an emergency room doctor lately, and there's patients in the hospital for which they call rocks, that they're just stuck there like a rock because they can't get them through the system because of the social workers can't get them out of the hospital. And so when you look at the chart, it might tell you one thing, but if any of you have been in a hospital or been there with a loved one recently, you know that sometimes people are in the hospital longer for reasons that don't have anything to do with their illness. And so anyway, when I look at that chart, to me doesn't seem that exorbitant for as much panic as the media has created for us. That's my thoughts on COVID. I know many people now that have had it. I don't personally know anybody that's died of it.
Well, you think about the relationships that you're close to, or maybe that you came from, and opposites normally attract. And I just want to give a big clap to Jeff and Shelley Shreve, my parents. They are complete opposites in many ways, and both of them have given me they've helped me make up who I am. And so there's part of me who is driven by feelings. And there's another part of me that likes to look at the data like this. And so whatever is coming through your lens, your phone, your computer, your television, that's going to go right to your feelings. And that's okay. That's great. That may give you the empathy that you need to be able to respond in real time for somebody, or take care of a loved one or a friend, or just be a good neighbor. But looking at the data is very helpful too, because it can really set those feelings at ease. It can give you something to stand on. I know the science is a big term, it seems like these days, but really we're just looking for, what are the quantifiable data points? And so First Trust has been a great advocate of that for us. And another group that we've mentioned on this call before is Alger, our friends out of New York. And I want to share this screen with you that I found so interesting. This is basically COVID vaccine success. And I was taking a look at this effectiveness, and I was really encouraged to see the success of a couple drugs that have come out as of late. And as I looked at this, I was talking to my friend who owns a coffee shop down the road, and I said, there's one on here that just scares me to death, and it's because of my feelings of unknowns, and that's anthrax. I saw anthrax, and I was like, oh my goodness. But there's a 93% success rate on the effectiveness of the virus antidote and the vaccine. And so take courage. It's my opinion, you heard it here first, that I really think as the logistics improve and we can transport this stuff, and if we see some success, if we have to get better, I think these things right here, these might be done away with, I'm hoping by mid-year, and several of our businesses can get up and running to capacities that allow them to pay their workers, employ, and start dreaming again. So the data is very valuable, and I want to encourage you with whatever's coming through your lens, computer, phone, just counter that with the data, and then get a good solid opinion on how you're going to take action steps.
Can you go back to that chart again, Doug?
Say that, back to the chart.
The one you just had up.
Sure.
I'm countering you said two different opinions, so I'm countering your chart there because I was a little concerned with what I saw there, but I'm on the CDC website there, and I am not a doctor. I'm just a guy that looks at math. And so over there to the very far left, vaccine effectiveness, that's the one that concerned me because I got a needle stuck in my arm. I don't personally get the flu shot because I don't like that number on it. And the flu shot that they were going to give me a few weeks ago, they told me it was only 20% effective, and I didn't really care for that. But I got the one right next to it. And my data before I got it told me it was 95% effective, and your thing shows it 67. And I'm on the CDC website, and the CDC says that the Shingrix vaccine is 90% effective. So it would be over there close to your anthrax when you were concerned. But I'm a big advocate of the shingles vaccine. So that's all I got. I didn't have anything else. I just I thought if that thing was only 67% effective, I wasn't gonna let them put it in my arm.
Well, we'll have to dive into the data points to figure out, what's what. But this does create the discussion of, okay, is this working in your favor? Is this worth taking a look at? And some people, they don't take the flu vaccine, not just even because of that effective rate, but because of the mercury that goes into your system. So you're going to have a lot of reasons why you may or may not do something. But to Keith's point, there's a lot of data points out there, and you could probably stay up really late at night going through all of them to try and find the right answer. Or like I did all the way through college, B's and C's will get you there. In baseball, those first base hits will help you win games. So know the data, look for the data, and yeah, hash it out.
I did.
I've been
oh, go ahead.
I've been reading a lot lately, and one of the books I've been reading is the battle for investment survival. I don't know if I'm going to try to share a screen here. See if any of you people are old school like me, so you can.
It's my favorite book right now. Well, I shouldn't say that. Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights is my favorite, but I'm also reading that book, Keith, and I'm just loving it. What I'm taking away from that, and what I want to share with all of you right now, is patience. I'm learning the importance of patience, and then the tools to patience. Tools to patience in the marketplace are just understanding supply and demand. And any of us can grasp that. It's taught in high school economics. You can get it. And if you want to have a cup of coffee or some pizza at Bass Bo's, I'd love to take you out to lunch and share with you what I'm learning on patience and in support of supply and demand.
I'm not. Oh, here I go, Amanda. Here's how I do this.
I should have just
So
said,
hopefully y'all can
give
see
me
this.
the link. I'll share it for you.
Never
Can you
get
hear
the
it?
purchase of a good stock. You don't say, yeah, my broker says it's a real good buy. What does your broker say? Well, my broker's E.F. Hutton. And Hutton says, when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen.
I don't know if you all remember that commercial or not, but that was.
Nobody remembers that commercial, Keith.
Come on.
I mean, we listen to Bing Crosby and at our house, but nobody remembers that commercial.
I had lunch yesterday with a guy that worked at E.F. Hutton, and he was my age. So what are you saying? You're really hurting my feelings here. Anyway, Gerald Loeb was Hutton's business partner. And so nobody knows who Gerald Loeb was, but I just found this quote today really interesting in her. It says that he says some of the do's and don'ts in securities programs. Readers should not expect to obtain here an infallible formula for the preservation of capital in spite of the obstacles cited in previous chapters. The changing purchasing power of money, politics, war, public sentiment, and the vast vicissitudes of individual securities. That's a big word, but anyway, here's what he says. The contention that that investment is a battle for financial survival would disprove itself if the difficulties could be explained away so easily. He's just saying, if we did away with inflation, if we did away with politics, if we did away with war, if we did away with public opinion, investing would be easy. So it's not easy. It's challenging because what you mentioned earlier, Doug, is emotions. Emotions are one of the things that make it really hard to be a good investor.
Emotions are always there because you don't know what's going to happen next. You can look in the past and see what's happened, but it's like the old saying that past performance does not equal future results. And so there's this thought of, what if I'm wrong? Well, you will be, and we will be. Many of you already know that, but we want to be wrong with less and right with more is really the idea. And that's the idea of being patient with the investments. And it can mean that you hold cash more often than not, which is kind of a strange concept to think about. I think the rest of the world says stay invested 100% all the time. But if we were to go through several charts together, we can see where that's probably not the best risk reward scenario. Do you want to pull up the charts, Keith, or do you?
Let me show you a chart I wanted to talk about. Let me just show you this one real quick. And this is, do you guys see a chart yet?
I do. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I was looking at this on Monday, looking at several of the commodities. I've always liked silver. I don't know what it is.
Well, that's
silver, but
I just wanted to point out that we were talking about this right here in our former shows, and we pointed out that this thing was going up at this angle right here. You see that? That's really similar to that chart I showed you a while ago with the COVID, right? It was going up at that slope, and this thing has come down at that slope. And so it was up around $27 a share for the silver ETF. It bottomed out over here a couple weeks ago, or earlier this week, it looks like it. Well,
look at all that hype, like where your two red lines meet that you drew. Look at all that hype underneath on the volume side. I mean, that's just a lot of people placing their hands in and out of silver.
Yeah, and so it bottomed at 2060 right here, and it did it. I mean, it did it over here as well. So it did come down at a very fast pace. So the idea I wanted to throw out to you about silver, I was reading some ancient history this morning, and King Solomon was one of the wisest people ever. And during his reign, it said that he made silver and gold as common as stones. I grew up with a gravel driveway, and the stones had no value. And why I thought that was really interesting is that if in the past history that silver and gold had become common, that's when prices drop, when there's just too much of something that it's of no value, and it causes a lot of frustration for those people that put a lot of hope and certainty in those things. And so you can see here that, you know, the commonality of silver is for some reason nobody wanted it anymore. And with that, I was just thinking, like, I've got an old silver coin here, and I was just thinking, what do you, like, people collected these things, what do you do with these things? Have you guys thought about that? What do you do with an old silver coin? And that's that's just a common thing that people have in their house, are these things that you got to get rid of. And I would suggest that, you know, looking at that chart would even help you timing wise when you want to get rid of some of your silver or gold.
You got a phone call coming in?
If any of you, Keith switched to an iPhone this week. That's pretty exciting news. Speaking of common, everybody has an iPhone, and that's probably been reflected in Apple's charts as of late. That is a really good word on silver. I'm glad you shared that. Like I said, I was looking at the commodity prices earlier this week, and some of you, if you're in tune with this stuff, you've seen gold has been trimming back, and whether it's gold, silver, corn, beans, or Apple stock, again, this all goes back to supply and demand. And if those silver and gold pieces are so common, like Keith was talking about, that we would drive our cars on them or our chariots, their worth probably isn't going to be that great. It's the rare things in life that are good, and that's one of the ways I've been trying to start off my days recently is with the rare things. Just you know, my son and I had coffee. Well, he had a hot chocolate before he started school today, and one of the rare and precious things is your time. And so he and I went through a gratitude list. What are we thankful for today? And if you recognize those rare and precious things in your life, and it might be silver at some point in time, that's okay. But or it might be your investments, whatever it is that you recognize that you're grateful for. The beauty of listing that out and knowing it, what it is, you will start to see the influence around your life that is positive. And those things help you make better decisions. They help you stay focused. They help you take courage despite what your feelings are telling you to do. Those data points will keep you moving in the right directions, and I believe make you a better investor overall, because you're going to have the bandwidth to have patience and to sit out and to be content. And over the years, I know Keith and even, you know, Jim and Henry at our old office, really pursued just trying to live simple, live between your means, pay off your debts. And these type of financial planning things aren't rocket science. They're the ones that can fit on that index card. Now, I think mine was a 4x6 index card, not a 3x5. But those types of concepts are the ones that will really allow you to win. And so that's what we're cheering you on with, whether it be on this call or annual meetings or you stopping by the office. Those are the things that are of real value for you.
I know that I was reading, this is back to First Trust, but Brian Westbury said that profits are, or pretty much the stock market is driven by not politics, not greed, not fear, but just math is what their outlook on the things that they're seeing are. But like Keith mentioned before, there are other things like feelings, and if we eliminate all those, it would be as simple as that. But it's part of it all, and I know you guys do such an amazing job of looking at the data, looking at the math, and it's emotional. You guys can attest to that too, but I know you guys do an amazing job of looking at what is important and keeping things simple.
The beauty of the both sides of this, especially the feeling side, is we would have no creativity without that. We wouldn't have good food, good restaurants. We wouldn't have good art. And so I'm really grateful for those who are gifted in that way. I'm really grateful for those like the First Trust or Elder people or CDC folks who are gifted with their own uniqueness. But the supply of great decision makers, of great leaders is definitely, and water is definitely in demand right now.
Yeah, I think what Doug was saying, the valuable things, and we didn't really get into a lot of quantifiables today other than the COVID stuff, but like most of the valuable things in life aren't going to show up on a balance sheet. They're not going to show up. There's not going to be a record of those things. Those valuable things are going to be those times when Doug has a hot chocolate with his son, or Amanda is having a date night with her boyfriend, or those sorts of things. And those all just take creativity. Like the most valuable times in life, you have to get away from your computer. You have to get away from the newspaper. You have to get away from your phone and think creatively. A friend of mine this week cracked open his wallet and got 2 nights at the Conrad Hotel with his wife because everybody's afraid to go downtown, and he ordinarily couldn't afford the Conrad, and so he was able to get 2 nights in the Conrad. And I was like, nice work, man. And that's the kind of creativity that'll build those really valuable things, that you take the resources that are on your balance sheet and convert them to something that's really important. And as we coach and encourage you guys, that's our goal for you, is to help you think through what's really important and to take this fuel of resources and fuel your lives with it, not to stockpile more and more money.
Man, that's pretty much the best show ever since Thanksgiving. Oh, it's the only show since Thanksgiving. That's all I got today.
Me too. Thank you guys so much. Keith, any
Well, everybody have a great weekend.
Take care.
What'd you say?
I said, you got anything else? No, we're good. Bye, guys.
Bye.